me turn this on. Welcome everybody to another edition of Pred Talk here at Fish on Fire. I know, right? Give him a hand. Fish on Fire. Shoot. Let everybody out there know there's quite a few people here tonight. This is awesome. Appreciate the turnout. I got a guest tonight. I didn't think I'd ever get on here, but he was a Predator. He was a Predator favorite back in the day. Well, it hasn't really even been that long ago. 2014 through 16.
Not
right?
too long. Not too long.
Yeah, but I got a head coach of the new NAL expansion team, Albany, Mr. Rob Keefe.
What's up, everybody?
In the house.
Good to be back.
For Predator fans that don't know Rob Keefe, he actually spent 2 stints with the Predators. Am I not right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my first, actually, a lot of people don't know, my first stint with the Predators was in 2012. I take it before that, it was 2006 when I was a player. I actually worked out here for Coach Moss and Coach Gruden. Came for a private workout, and Coach Gruden took us out for a dinner. Got to know him really, really well. Didn't end up signing me, but that was kind of my first introduction to the Orlando Predators. So I could have been here as a player. And then my first coaching stint, I was actually the offensive coordinator here for a little while in 2012. Didn't work out, got released, and me and Coach Muncie are still super close to this day. And then went out to Utah. After that, went out to Utah for a while, and then came back as the head coach for 2014 through 2017 or 16.
16, yeah. No, I got that all on there.
Yes.
I'm going to bring up 2012 here real quick. I mean, I know we're not going to be doing the marathon show tonight. All right, Coach Keefe has another obligation later on, so 7 o'clock is like my cutoff. So I'll be looking at the clock. But if you have any questions for him, by all means, jump in. I know
all these people.
I know you do. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. Even though you're not with the Predators this season, you are in the NAL, and these guys here love to see you anyhow,
Well, always a Predator, right? Always a Predator. But see, and I think that the biggest thing too is now to sell the NAL.
Absolutely.
I think that's the goal, So all coaches combined to really get this league up to a level that we all are proud of, and just continue to grow it. Just continue to get more expansion teams in and to be as competitive as possible.
Christopher Walter over there, he says, Keefe, best coach the Preds had. So.
Well, I know Chris. Chris is a great person. And that's one of the best things I think about the Orlando Predator fan base is they're just awesome people. And you get to know them. And for me, I've lived in this community since the end of 2013. So I've been here in Orlando. I consider it my home. It's an awesome place, and it started, I think, with the fan base extending themselves out to myself. So it's a great place to be.
It really is. I mean, I grew up here. I'm not from here originally, but I grew up here, and I'm not planning on ever leaving Orlando. Been a Predator fan for many years. I did some research on you.
Okay.
I did some research on you, and I'll pull it up here real quick. I think pull it up. I pulled up my tablet real quick. You were, let's see, you're the only person in arena football history to win 5 championships as a player and a coach. 2 Arena Cup and 3 Arena Bowls. Is this correct?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate. So there used to be a level called Arena 2, and that was where the Arena Cup terminology comes in, and then the Arena Bowl obviously is for the AFL, and the AF2 was a feeder system into the AFL, and that's where I kind of cut my teeth. I got really my start in the Arena 2 system, and just like I was saying in 2006 when I had my first workout with the Orlando Predators, I did really well in the Arena 2 leagues, very fortunate to win a championship as a player, and then I was able to graduate, if you will, for the term there to the AFL, where then I was able to win a championship as a player there with the Philadelphia Soul. And then when it was time to coach, I went back to the Arena 2 league to really start. It's kind of, and a lot of coaches start at a lower level, if you will, for lack of a better term. And I was fortunate enough to win a championship in the AF2. So there was kind of the combination of 2 Arena Cups. One as a player, one as a coach, and then the Arena Bowl as a player. And unfortunately, my last 10 years, I've been fortunate to win 2 AFL championships as a head coach. So really in both leagues, I was able to see the highest level and able to accomplish those goals. So yeah, very fortunate too. A lot of good coaches and great players and fan bases, and it all kind of works out that way.
So you're trying to match Brady with Rams? Is that what you're trying
Well,
to do?
that would be awesome. You know, I think, well, and that's the goal every year. And so every year is the goal is to win a championship. I think one of my biggest regrets here is just not being able to win one for the Atlanta Predators. That really has kind of tormented me. You know, losing in the championships. Or in the playoffs, not making it to the championship. You know, when I was with Utah as a defensive coordinator, we lost on the last play of the game in a conference championship. So you're always having these moments where you learn from those experiences ultimately to help you to win the big ones.
Well, we've got Bennett this year, so Coach Bennett's going to take us to. I'd love to have Predators against Albany.
There's not a doubt in my mind that couldn't take place. I mean,
You know, I mean,
seriously.
hey, look, with all the talent that's out there with the AFL, when it went bankrupt, there's a lot more talent this year than there was in the 2020. Because, now, correct me if I'm wrong, you just won a championship in 2019, right?
Yeah, so we were fortunate. We won in Albany, and Albany was a great place, an amazing place. Albany's a place where, if I were to talk to the Predator fans, the Albany Empire was equivalent to probably what the Orlando City Soccer organization is to this community.
Okay.
There is no Orlando Magic up there. There is no other professional sports team. So we were the only thing that was really up there. So, you know, first thing on the news, that's, you know, the Albany Empire. The biggest thing kind of going. There's no real major colleges up there like UCF. It's very small colleges. So it was just kind of a perfect storm. And that city, that community was kind of looking for something. We were able to get off to a hot start and really had the backing and sellout crowds. It was a cool experience. It's only about 12,000 fit in that arena, so it was an amazing experience.
Now, I hear, I've not been, but I hear that the Albany fans are like this close to being as good as Predator fans. I mean, nobody beats Predator fans. That's a fact.
We're gonna start a war here already, aren't we? No, and I think that the best thing about both fan bases is it's so community oriented. And you know, again, I don't want to dissuade any markets for getting in, but I've always thought that the best fan bases have been in the communities that don't have major NFL franchises.
Right.
And because when you have that, sometimes it gets watered down. And we are minor league sports, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I would say that we're like AAA baseball. That's a great way to describe, you know, what we do. And so the Orlando Predator fan base, the Spokane Shock fan base, the Arizona Rattlers fan base. Everybody's going to boo right now when I say the Jacksonville Shark fan base, right? Yeah, right. So it's the same kind of concept. So it just works in particular areas, but it really all does start with the fans and the love. And Albany they're stand-up people, and they really care about the guys and the players, and they really supported us. It was great.
That's good. That's awesome. I mean, speaking of the Shark fans, I mean, you know, Rob Storm has been dodging me for a while now. I had him scheduled to come on the show twice, and something's came up. Something's came up. I don't know, you know, with it being a new 2021 season, he's a little scared. I don't know. He might be. Now, Milton Stanton, Magic, one of our bread heads. He's got a question for you, and I had it written down here too. This is great.
Milton, I love these. See, we all stay in touch too. That's one thing I love about social media, though. Everybody stays in touch with everybody, and Milton's a great guy. Everyone here is awesome. It's so good to see these faces.
Milton never lets me down. He wants to know, do you still hold the school record for 643 punt return yards at where's that? Mercyhurst?
Yeah, you know, the great thing is, so I went to a small Division II school in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is right between Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. It's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle for coldness, is what I would say. You know, the coldest place on earth. But yeah, you know, I was a punt returner. I was a defensive back. Very fortunate to get a great collegiate career up there. I actually coached here for high school, Faith Christian Academy. No longer coaching there this year, but last couple of years we've actually sent players to Mercyhurst College to help kids get into school there. It's actually called Mercyhurst University now. They switched from University College, but yeah, I think I still hold some records up there. You know, very proud, still close with my college coach who's still coaching there, and yeah, it was a really great experience. But you know, football takes you all over the place, and yeah, Northwest Pennsylvania is where I played my collegiate football.
Is that where you're from, Pennsylvania?
No, originally I'm from the DC area. So
okay.
I went to high school downtown Washington DC, probably about 10 blocks away from the Capitol building. Grew up Northern Virginia, so I drove in every single day, took the metro. The metro station is kind of the subway station in Washington, D.C. Took the subway into school every single day. Washington, D.C. area, and then from Washington, D.C., college or high school, I went to a school for a year, a prep school in Maine. I was really young for my age, and a couple colleges recommended me go up there, so I spent a year in Maine. And then from Maine, I went to Mercyhurst College, now University in Pennsylvania.
Gotcha. Now, it hasn't been announced yet, and I'm just, because I don't know if there's a poll or what's going on out there, but what do you prefer, Albany Empire or Albany Firebirds? Because I know there's some sort of a fan thing going on.
Yeah, so for me, again, look, even if it's a new name, I think the biggest thing is the Firebirds were around when the original Predators were around. They're an old school franchise. A lot of famous coaches and players have played for that organization, won a championship, played Orlando in a championship in Arena Bowl, an amazing Arena Bowl. I want to say, if I'm right, there's Arena Bowl 13 maybe. But regardless, great history there. But then the Empire at the same time, it's so new and it's so fresh. But either way, I know that's they would say the IP, the intellectual property, depending on who owns what. I know there's a lot of legal ramifications, kind of not my expertise, but whichever direction we go in, as long as it's Albany, I'm going to be prepared for it either way, and the fans, I think, are going to embrace it because it's that kind of community.
I have no doubt. I've been following a lot of the different chatter on Facebook, and you got some that want the Firebirds, you got some that want the Empire. I mean, right decision we made, and I'm sure your fans are going to be ecstatic.
When we were playing as the Empire, there were plenty of fans in the crowd that still have their old Eddie Brown Firebirds jerseys. It was really cool to see that that's how far the franchise has come and how many people still remember those days. So, 20 years in the making, they really still respect it no matter what the team name is going to be.
Now, I'm going to go for my questions. Milton's got another question, but I'm going to get you back. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and answer. Milton wants to know what AFL team was a thorn in your side.
Well, this is a great question. I think it tells you a lot about who I am, too, as I answer this question. So the Jacksonville Sharks, obviously, when I was here with the Orlando Predators, they beat us 2 years in a row in the playoffs. And it was tough, because all I wanted to do was bring a championship to Orlando. I feel like if you don't win a championship, for me, that's a losing season, as hard as that might be on myself, but that's just the expectations I have for myself. But Coach Les Moss was the head coach of those teams, and when there's an opportunity for us to work together, I wanted to hire him for the Empire, so I wasn't afraid of the competition. If anything, if this is the guy who beat us 2 years in the playoffs, I wanted to make myself better, because I always feel like there's an opportunity where I can learn and get better and have good mentorship. But it was Jacksonville. Jacksonville was really tough. And Philadelphia Soul has always been, we've always been the top three in terms of that region, beating up on each other, and there's been some great rivalries. So, it's Jacksonville, Arizona, Philadelphia, Orlando. When I was here in Orlando, when we were all playing together, it seemed like we were all the top four teams beating up on each other. So and it's great rivalry, great sportsmanship.
That's what makes it fun and exciting.
Sure. You have to have those rivalries, I think, because it's kind of what you live for.
Speaking of exciting, what do you enjoy most about arena football? Being a head coach and a former player, what do you enjoy most about it?
Yeah, for me, it is the connection to the fan base. It's an amazing feeling. I think when you're in the NFL, obviously, it would be awesome, right, to be in the NFL. It'd be awesome to be a coach in the NFL, awesome to kind of, nationally be known in that regard, just because it's the pinnacle of our sport. But as far as arena football, for doing this, it really makes it worthwhile because of the interaction with the fan base. I'm such a community person, here in Orlando and Albany, going out to the hospital visits and the schools with the kids and the talks and those kind of things, running the camps for the kids. It really makes it worthwhile. So when you do win, it gives, I think, your community that that love and desire that they have for you. You're giving back to them. So it really is that. It's a complete community experience, and that's really what I love the most about it.
Speaking of fan experience, do you have a favorite fan experience?
I could probably whittle it down to one, but it always is awesome when you have those opportunities to come onto the field after the game.
Yeah.
It was interesting, and I said this too. I did a podcast a year ago, And what I did, actually in Albany, I actually stopped coming out to see the fans after the game. And it wasn't because I didn't want to see the fans, but I actually didn't want to take any attention away from the players. And I kind of learned to kind of step back a little bit to give the players a little bit more of the limelight. Sometimes I'll go on the radio a lot, or I'll go on TV a lot. And in Albany, I really tried to help the players get on the radio more, or the players get on TV more, or interact with the fans more. But it really is that, I think, opportunity. After a win, there's nothing better than celebrating with the people that helped you win the game with their support. So.
Yeah, I know that's a huge thing here in Orlando. But Psycho Fever TV is exactly. Psycho Fever TV, they live stream all of our shows here on Proton,
nice.
but all of our games as well there at the Amway Center. So YouTube, Facebook, all those different things. Listen, there's a survey. I don't know if it's still out there. You just came from the AFL where they had the Nets. What are your feelings playing this season in the NAL? What do you think it's going to be, what are your opinions on not having Nets? Put it that way.
Well, look, I think it's beneficial both ways. Again, I'll always be a proponent for Nets. I think the net it's an awesome experience, especially for the fans. But not having Nets there doesn't mean it's not going to be a great game either, so I don't want to misspeak in any way there. I think for me, it's interesting when you ask a coach those kind of questions that I think like a coach. So the first thing I think about is the strategy of kicking without a net. That's kind of where my head goes.
Right.
So either way, you're unprepared for the moment. But I think eventually it'll probably get to that point. I think the goal is, does the NAL have the capabilities of having nets in every arena? And so that's where I think, until every team has the capabilities of hosting the nets, you won't see them. But again, that's part of the expansion process. That's part of, obviously with the AFL no longer around, there's patent rights that have probably diminished. And there's a lot of legal ramifications behind it.
A lot of things there too, as far as, because I've had the commissioner on the show a couple of times, and he has brought up about player injury, this and that with the net, and there's multiple things. I just wanted your opinion.
Yeah. And again, we'll try to do, when it comes down to that, I would say this, if we were playing in a parking lot, I'll try to figure out the way to win the football game.
Sure.
That's just how it is. So when we kick off, obviously the goal is to pin, the other team as deep as possible. You just have to figure out a way to do that without having the net there.
No, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, I threw it over here. I wanted to ask this one. What's your opinion on Ironman football?
Look, so that's how I started. So I came up in 2004. I was released from the CFL. So after Mercyhurst University, I was fortunate to have a couple workouts in the NFL. Didn't pan out. Then I went to the CFL, played for 2 teams up there, didn't pan out, from Montreal and Toronto. And then I jumped on to the Columbus War Dogs, which is an Arena 2 team. I knew nothing about arena football, but I had the capabilities of playing wide receiver and defensive back. Defensive back was my true position, but I could run routes and be a receiver. And so that's kind of how I learned. So I love the game. I thought it was really cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with not having Ironman football. But to answer the question, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really cool experience. I thought it made it very unique for arena football. I think ultimately the goal was, when we switched away from Ironman football, was to protect the quarterback. And I think, quarterback in any level of football tends to be the position that you really need the most. And then if you have defensive linemen, sometimes being offensive linemen, that could put your quarterback in. That person could be a liability for your quarterback. So I think that was originally the goal. But if you can find the right people to protect your quarterback and play both ways, it really is a pretty cool game.
Yeah. I know you said something about Les Moss earlier. Les Moss is one of your coaches yet?
Well, not yet. So we're still working out with Coach Moss, still working out the details. Hopefully Coach Moss comes on board. I think he's an amazing person. Such a great mentor to me and a great friend. We did some amazing things up there in Albany. But hopefully that works out. But we should have some information about that this week.
Awesome. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, sure.
I am in the next room.
Well, and that's the goal. The goal right now is as for myself, it's only September, but it's put the coaching staff together. You want to get your front office staff solidified. Obviously, ticket sales are coming in. We're really happy with the ticket sales are right now in September. And then sponsorship. And then before you know it, players are getting signed. And Albany does a great job up there. We're very fortunate that, for instance, for me, just being announced in Albany, I mean, every major publication, all 4 news channels, it was 3 or 4 different radio shows. We have a really good market up there that recognizes our talent level and vice versa. I mean, they're so great to us. So when we do announce the coaching staff, I know it'll be big news up there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of season tickets for the Orlando Predators, you can still get the 2021 season tickets for the 2020 price. All you got to do is go to our website, www.orlandopredatorsfootball.com, or call Mary Beth, 386-624-3731. Gotta get these little bits in there.
Oh, you got to.
Gotta get them in there. Because October 1st, the 2020 prices are done. They're going to the 2021 prices. Pre-game rituals. When you're coaching, do you have any pre-game rituals for you? I mean,
yeah, I do. I'm very superstitious. I'm so superstitious where I won't give them away. But I'm very the same thing for me at a home game takes place every single home game, from the minute I wake up to literally the minute the game is over. And then if it's an away game, the same routine happens, bearing some kind of crazy away trip incident or anything in the hotel. We've had fire alarms go off, and we've been in a hurricane before. As long as there's nothing like that, it's the same routine constantly. And really, it's to keep me at ease. It's to keep me kind of calm and focused on the task at hand. And I just kind of found a really good routine to put me in the right frame of mind to help win a football game.
Do you have any favorite stories from over the years?
Oh, I got plenty of stories
that you want to share with us?
You have to probably put it
a Predator story.
No, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, if somebody were asking me right now, like, what's my fondest memories of the Predators, it's really the camaraderie with the fans, and then the preparation and the hard work that goes in with the players. I mean, it was an awesome experience. When I was here the first year, we were playing out at CFE Arena. We were out on UCF, and I loved it. I loved it out there, and I loved it when we moved into Amway Center. There was nothing that I would change with the experience here in Orlando. I mean, the players worked so hard. We were very competitive. Obviously, I wanted to win championships, but we really had a group of guys that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And a lot of those Predator players played with us in Albany. We had guys up there that were. That were with us in the Predators and ended up winning a championship for the Albany Empire. So it was awesome to continue that journey with them. So all good stuff.
Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this. I'm sure everybody in this room knows this, but the owners of the Orlando Predators, Nate Starkey Jr. and the Tradico family, also own the Albany team. And I don't know how you guys roll up there in Albany, but what Ron just gave you there was what we call a Predator shot.
It's going to burn my throat. You're going to give me a loss. We're going to have a loss on the schedule.
It's like Kool-Aid. If you could hand me one of those, because it's a tradition here on Bread Talk that we
got to do it.
Very smooth.
That one there is yours, young man.
How about we'll do it after? I'll do it after.
All right. I'll tell you what it is, though. I'll tell you what it is. It's pure enjoyment.
He's been talking about it for a week, so I know he believes in it.
Very smooth. No
It's you don't even need a chaser. It's
yes.
Smooth. Trust me. Trust me, I'll tell you.
I trust you.
I don't know who's over there yelling at you.
I know. I'm getting heckled already.
Well, hell, my water, Franklin.
Welcome to the jungle.
The jungle, baby. I've never forgotten the jungle.
Never do. Well, tell us something about you that people might not know.
For me, so a long time ago, I represented in the Junior Olympics. I always say this when the kids ask me questions, and I represented Virginia in the Junior Olympics in Taekwondo and as a boxer. So from the ages of 7 to 14 years old, I thought that I would be, Taekwondo, the boxing industry, and then football kind of took over, and then I went to a powerhouse high school in Washington, D.C., and I was very fortunate to go to that school. But yeah, I mean, I won gold medals and bronzes and silvers and all kinds of trophies in boxing and Taekwondo, and got to represent Virginia all over the country for pretty much my childhood.
I just got to think. I didn't know that. I trust me. I researched this man, over the weekend.
Right.
I'm looking him up, different things about him. I just got a text here that says, "Don't call Mary Beth right now because she just got out of the hospital this morning. She spent the weekend in the hospital, food poisoning."
Oh,
So,
been there.
yeah, feel better, Mary Beth. All right,
Feel better,
call her right now. You did get a shout out there from Kevin Hawthorne. Is he part of your?
Kevin's my guy. Kevin's my guy. So Kevin's son played for us at Faith Christian Academy. Kevin also helped out with the East Orlando Predators, the Junior Predators, the organization that I helped and still is continuing to help. I sit on the board for the youth program. We actually won a national championship last year, so we went 17-0. We won the Central Florida championship, and then we ran through the state of Florida, and then we played teams from all over the country. It was awesome. But yeah, 14-year-old kids, 13 to 15, some young 15s. We did actually another team from Orlando who actually Seminole who made it down with us, but played teams from Las Vegas and Virginia and Texas, and we did an amazing job. And those kids right now, that's what I do on Friday nights now. I follow all the kids that we coach here, that Lake Nona, Colonial, Dr. Phillips, Lake Highland. I mean, they're all over the city. Oviedo, and they're just doing great things. And a lot of these kids will eventually be in college, and it's cool to help them in any way I possibly can.
I believe the East Orlando Predators went to the NFL Super Bowl. Was it last year or the year before they went down?
So what we did, so that was a team that I was a part of. So after we won the championship, I want to say it was December 14th, we won the championship, the national championship, 17-0, the AAU championship is cool. The kids got rings and they got medals and things. And then Fox News, because the Super Bowl was on Fox. Fox News, Fox Morning News, whatever the show in the morning is on Sundays, Weekend Friends or whatever it might be, they invited us down. So we took a whole bus with all the kids, all the coaching staff, and as they were going over the news and the Sunday broadcast there, we were in the background performing football drills and things like that. So it was a really cool experience for those kids, and we were right on South Beach, and it was awesome, just people coming by, but they had their helmets and shoulder pads on. It was on a stage, a live set.
That's awesome.
Probably 500,000 people out there walking around. It was a good experience, and rightfully so. I mean, they won the championship, and I was proud to be a part of it.
It's something those kids will never ever forget.
No, and for me, I was I help. Basically, what I do for that organization is I help the coaches get better as coaches, and then I also was the defensive coordinator for the 14U. But there's 40 coaches within the program, and I put on seminars on how to break down film, how to set your drills, how to properly establish a game plan for the day, and how to set up a practice schedule Monday through Friday. And so it's really cool. It's a big family, and obviously an extension of the Orlando Predators. And wear the same outfit, the same gear, red and black, and it's awesome. It's a great experience.
Same logo we're going to use this year.
Yeah,
Black
absolutely.
with the eye. That's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Some in the audience would like,
Soon.
You're getting heckled.
I know.
Take your shot.
I'm used to being heckled. Heckling just makes you stronger.
I'm not. I don't care about it. Doesn't matter. They're heckling you.
Right.
But salute, go Reds.
There it is.
It is so sweet. It is so sweet. It's like Kool-Aid.
God trust you. I believe you.
That's okay. Now listen, here in Orlando, with the ownership group that we have this year here, we're big on giving back to the community.
Sure.
All right. Is there any charities that are close to your heart?
Yeah. So for me, I work with an organization called Clean the World, and Clean the World is an organization that, after we did not play this year because of COVID, football was kind of on hiatus. In my spare time, for the last 4 years, I work with a company called Clean the World. So literally what I do, a lot of people don't know this, but it's a global hygiene company. Long story short, basically takes hotel soap and they recycle the soap and they send that soap all around the world.
Right.
Domestically, what we do, and this is kind of where I come, shelters, whether women's shelter, veteran shelter, children's shelter, low-income school, whatever it might be, they donate not only soap, but the bottled amenities from hotels. So when you find yourself in a shelter and there's need for hygiene, that's where you get the soap from. And we work with Salvation Army, Red Cross, all these NGOs. We sit on the board. We have a board member on the UN. So it's really cool. But for me, it was really an experience from a business standpoint. Like I got some business acumen that really kind of was, given to me in the last 4 years. Kind of also helped me as a coach. It actually just helped produce and actually take a step up from my managerial skills because I really learned the business side of the football world. But what I do right now when I'm not doing football, I actually engage with college, universities, professors and teachers, and I'm actually helping push an online curriculum that teaches students how to start a nonprofit. So it's really cool. So I worked with a social curriculum designer and it created the whole program that teachers and professors actually use in colleges all across America. So it's really interesting. So that's kind of what's close to my heart. Yeah, Clean the World's been a big part of my life. And again, I got into it because the team president of the East Orlando Predators,
right,
the Junior Preds, is also the CEO of Clean the World. So this all kind of ties in together. We're all Big One fans.
I've met him before.
Well, yeah, and season ticket holder, Sean Seipler, I mean, he's awesome. And I think those kids from the Junior Predators are going to be out there at halftime. They might be out there when the Orlando Preds are running through the tunnel. Those are the kids that are clapping hands. So it all works out, goes hand in hand.
I know we're working on some things with him.
Sure.
I'm going to toot your horn here just a minute as far as your head coaching record. I mean, you got, in the regular season, you are 75 and 35, which is a 682% winning percentage. In the playoffs, you're 8 and 5, still 615 overall, 83 wins and 40 losses. Since what, 2008?
Yeah, so 2010 is when I became a head coach. So I think I've coached seven. I've been a head coach for 7 years, and very fortunate to have the teams that I've been on. Very fortunate to have the players and the coaching staff, and really the organization. I think the head coach is an extension of how great the organization is. And, Spokane, Orlando, and Albany. All great organizations, all great fan bases, all great communities, and that's really how I choose the teams that I select. I kind of learned, no disrespect to any teams out there, but I kind of learned how to turn down a job. If I don't feel the job kind of checks all the requirements of organization, fan base, community, I don't think it's a good fit for me arena football-wise because I really believe in that trifecta there. So. Yeah, I've been very fortunate. When you say that record, immediately in my head, the competitor goes into the 10 games I probably lost by a point or 2 points or less, which it could have made it, instead of 35 losses, 25 losses. That's just how I am. But
it is what it is.
All awesome experiences, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, do you have any words of advice for new players coming in the league?
Yeah, without a doubt. So I was a new player, and it takes a little bit getting used to. And so I was a defensive back, and the 3 years, it kind of took me about 2.5 years to figure out the game. And whether it be coaching or whether it be in the right organization, you could say it in the NFL. Some players thrive if they're in the right environment. And great example, like last night, Cam Newton, being in the Patriots uniform and what he just did with that team, it shows that obviously he still has it. And sometimes you're in an environment where people might ride you off, or you might be a rookie and you might not be in the right environment with the right coach, and so you might not thrive. But if you get in another place and you're traded to another team, all of a sudden you're a great player. And so it's all about, I think, the environment that you're in and the opportunity that you get. But for me, my first year I didn't have any interceptions. The second year I had 3 interceptions, and then the third year I had 12, and the fourth year I had 13. And so for young players, I just say stick with it. It takes a little while to get used to the speed of the game. The athletes, for me, I was a Division II football player, and so now all of a sudden I'm playing with guys from Miami and Oklahoma and Texas and Florida, and so all of a sudden you have to adjust very quickly to bigger, stronger, quicker, faster people. But once you get it, again, sky's the limit. But I do say this, like, it's such a high-scoring game. Don't get down on yourself. Stick with it. Have a very, very short memory, and just have fun with it.
Brian Wright says you were one of the best coaches he's ever worked with. It's a pleasure working with you.
Brian was amazing, so I love Brian, and so again, this is why I love social media, because this is what it does. You know, a lot of people I think too, so Brian, first off, he was a equipment manager with us when I was here with the Predators, and he was helped out before I was with the Predators, but just a really good person, a great heart, players loved him. You know, him and his son always with us at practice, which was awesome. But for me, social media, I think a lot of people don't realize how often you might check up on it. So I'm the kind of guy, I might not leave a message on somebody's Facebook post, but I definitely see the barbecues that they're having, or the family event that they might have had, or you know, the life experience that went great for them. And I love this stuff. So especially a person like myself who's been, I mean, I've lived in 12 different places in 16 years because of arena football, and I love every minute of it. You meet a lot of great people, and you have a lot of, you know, connection with the country.
One thing with arena football fans is once you meet them and you get to know them, you're there for life. We don't forget. We don't just bail on it.
Well, without a doubt, and I think how I am as a person, that's why I want to make this league be awesome. I want to give fans the best entertainment value possible. I'll probably be one of the only coaches, I say this all the time, that we're in the entertainment business. I mean, I'm a coach, yes, but we're here to entertain. And so there's people that make money working a job that they love and it's providing for their families. So when they have an opportunity to use that money to come, whether it go to see a movie, go to a theme park, when you're choosing to buy a Predator ticket or an Albany football ticket, I want to make sure that that money is well worth spent. And we win for you, and we put in. Look, if we lose, hey, it's 80 to 79 and triple overtime, whatever. You know, I just want to make sure they come away satisfied. So that's my goal, to make sure this league goes for the fans, and so they're happy with the money they're spending.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it is entertainment. It's not WWE entertainment where it's all fixed. This is real live football, but yes, we are in the entertainment business without a doubt. Mary LoBianco wants to know your best fan interaction in the jungle.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Well, I would never rule it down to one person, right? I would never do that. But I think for me, it really is. We've had some amazing games and some some heartbreaking losses, some amazing wins. But again, I always go back to when you get to come onto the field after the game. I mean, that's the coolest thing for me before the game too. When fans get to come down and you get to high five them. Again, NFL college, they might be 40 yards away from you where you can't actually interact and touch them. But I love that as a player. I mean, that was for me when I was a player, and you get to throw the ball into the stands, or you get to celebrate with the fans, and you get to clap them after a big hit or an interception or a touchdown. I mean, that is really a fun memory that you'll always be able to cherish as a player. It really is cool. I mean, you feel like a gladiator. I mean, everybody's right on top of you. It's a really cool experience.
It really is. And what's great about arena football is if say a receiver or anybody run down and they fly into the stands, you can keep the ball but throw the player back.
You got to throw the player back. Well, and that's the thing too. I always tell fans, to keep
Nancy, do you hear that, Nancy Morris? You got to throw the player
back. Can't keep him.
You can't keep the player. Throw the
She keeps the players.
It's funny. Did I throw it a lot then? Let's see, Robert, what's that? Robert Bill from Albany wants to know, come on back, I know. Can they expect any familiar faces back at the Time Union Center?
Oh, yeah, so the Amway Center here in Orlando is the Times Union Center up in Albany, and it's really cool because the Times Union it's right downtown. It has an amazing experience. It's a great arena. There's a great feel to it. But the players, without a doubt, we've contacted every single one of our players that we won a championship with in the AFL. All the players are excited to come back. Obviously, some guys retired. We had a little bit of an older team, but we had a lot of younger players too. And so when we start really getting going here with our staff and our front office, get everything kind of up and running, those players know, hey, be patient. We're going to start signing contracts, and you'll see a lot of familiar faces. And the same thing here, like the players fell in love with Albany. I mean, there's probably 12 to 15 players that probably live in Albany right now that just finished the season with us because the community was so great that they became football coaches or teachers, or they're working in gyms, or they created their own business. We had one guy is working on his PhD, so he's working with a medical company that they just provided the medical services for. So it was just one of those communities that the players didn't want to leave. And so now that we're coming back, why would they not want to play football if they still want to continue their football journey? But we'd love to have them back. Yeah, absolutely.
We had one of our players last season, one of our wide receivers, Junior DeVoe. He was on the show last week where the practice field where we were practicing at, he got to know all them and got to know the, I think, the vice principal. Well, now he is their athletic director and everything else, and he's sitting right there, and he was just on our show last week, Junior DeVoe.
That's awesome.
He's coming tonight and watching the show.
Well, and I think that's what it is, right? I mean, as you start to get to know people in the community, a lot of these players are from all over the country, and something brought them here. Okay, football, the love of the community, how the coach sold the organization of why you should move here, and then when you do stay here, you start to realize, hey, this is a place that I can really thrive. I mean, people know me, and they, I think playing for these teams creates opportunity within those communities, and I'm sure all these fans can list all the players and coaches that still live in this community. For me, that was me. I mean, I got to a point where I said, Florida is going to be home base for a while. This is a place that I feel comfortable at, and right now I currently live, 25 minutes away from here, and this is what it is. I mean, you really start to enjoy the communities that you serve in.
I'm proud of myself because I said Junior DeVoe and not Junior Devereaux. I pronounced his name correct. And Devereaux is Days of Our Lives, which I do not watch anymore. Let's see what I got here. What are your thoughts? Because people have been talking, because I hear a lot of different stuff. At the end of the season, whenever the Predators are, crowned champions and everything, we win the Arena Bowl. Having a championship game between the NAL and the IFL. What are your thoughts on that? Because the rules are different.
Sure, rules are different, yeah. And so for the IFL and the NAL, I think for me, look, the goal is, I think, for each community to, again, put on a level of entertainment where each community is satisfied and they feel like they're giving back. And again, ownership, you got to make money, right? That's part of what it is. So I feel like wherever there is a team, whether you're playing NAL rules or IFL rules, regardless, as long as there's great competition being had, hey, that league can survive. I think the big thing is, if you notice the regional thing, the NAL seems to be all on the East Coast, the IFL is all in the Midwest and the West Coast.
Right.
So eventually, maybe there is, and I think it has to be talked between the commissioners, obviously owners. Again, just being a coach, it would be awesome if we had a national league. But I think that's going to take some time. I think both games are awesome. I think the game that we play is great. For those who don't know the IFL, there's 2 men in motion. It's more of a running game. It's different defensive schemes. But regardless, great coaches in both levels, and great competition, great talent. So if we happen to play each other, well, hey, maybe we play one game where it's the NAL rules, and maybe we play one game that's the IFL rules, and you see maybe an aggregate score. I don't know how you do it, but regardless, I'm always up for any competition, so I think it'd be pretty cool to see.
Did you coach in the IFL?
No, I never coached in the IFL.
Just followed it really good.
I just follow it, and a lot of the players that we get have played in that league. A lot of coaches, for instance, if Albany all of a sudden decides to play, IFL rules, well, if I'm in Albany, then I guess I'm coaching the IFL rules. If they want the NAL rules, I'll coach the NAL rules. It doesn't matter. I mean, football to me, it's as long as we're coaching the game we love, I feel great with it. But I really do love the arena game. I think the arena game is very unique, and it's something I'm really good at.
See, Matt Wells says, good to see you, Coach. Matt Wells is a part of the Predators here.
Good to see you. And so again, like you know these players, you get to know these guys because they come on your tryouts. They contact you over social media. You really get to know them. And a guy like Matt, a great example. He probably thinks I don't even follow him. I'll see all his stuff on social media. And for me, the biggest thing is, hey, is everybody happy, healthy? Obviously everybody's still trying to continue their dream. But, that's the biggest thing. I think for me, and I really do love social media, and it's for things like this. You get to interact with so many people.
Matt's been on the show back when I was doing it from my man room at the house.
Sure.
When we first started doing this here, it was there, and then Fish on Fire. Shout out to Fish on Fire.
Yes.
One more time. Hey, listen, we've got Morgan, we got Joe here on the floor, we got Heather behind the bar. Take care of them because they're taking care of you, all right? Also, remember to wear your mask. If you get up and you're walking around, you go to the restroom, you go up to the bar, please put your mask on. We want to keep them open. They have to follow guidelines as well. So make sure you put your mask on if you're getting up walking around. Once you sit down, you can take it off, no worries. All right? Enjoy yourself. And order a Pret shot. Tell Morgan you want a Pret shot. They are delicious. They are delicious. He's not gonna do it on camera. I'm not gonna egg him.
Hang on, everybody close your eyes.
You heard it, right?
No.
Oh
Bring
my
it.
God.
This is how we're starting already.
What he said, did Albany make you
I know.
soft?
I'm gonna get heckled. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna get heckled. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the schedule. I'll tell you that.
He's gonna walk out with a doggy bag and a shot.
You know, he was much tougher when he comes here.
I was.
Now, have you heard that? Everybody said, Steve Moore says he was much tougher when he coached here.
I love it.
You gotta love Brent
You
Fan.
have to.
Because you know what? We can dish it out, but we can take that shit
Well,
too.
and they care. I think that's the whole point. I think the thing about Predators fans is they're the most knowledgeable fan base. You know, you can say that too because they've been in it so long. They know the players, they know the coaches, they know the rivalries. It really is refreshing when you put so much into something like we do to have the fans kind of have that same kind of passion. It really is awesome.
I gotta tell you something. I gotta show you something. I don't know if you can see this right here, but Steve and Nancy Morris, the Orlando Predators in Your Face fan club, gave myself and my wife these little statues. They made these here. Check this out.
He is
I love it.
It's it's got it right up on there. You know, and oh, this is married. I'm married tonight. That one over there, this is me. You know, and I'm up here before the show and I'm going, check, 1, 2, check. Check this out. I thought they ran out of these.
So I have one as well. I still have one. Yeah, I still have my watch.
Orlando Predators wristwatch, which is
Well,
awesome.
see, I'll tell you what, with that watch, the thing that I love about Orlando, Albany the same way,
You gonna show it?
you know, Spokane the same way, places like this, when you have this much memorabilia and all the gear, all the things, you become a walking billboard for the team, and that's something I really, really believe in, especially when you're around town. But that's awesome. I mean, I still have my watch, I still got it, yep, tucked away, it's perfect.
They showed these here on Facebook a month and a half ago, and I'm going like, oh my God, I want one of those. I want
Yeah.
one. And I think I only put it on there once. I'm not a beggar. You know, I'm not a beggar. I said, oh, I'd love to have one of those. And she went and they found one for me and found one for my wife. It is like amazing. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
And thank you so much. And they brought me in actually, oh my God, some old posters, banners, this and that there for the office today. So they'll be put up.
That's awesome.
You're gonna walk in because you guys don't know this here, but we share the same space, sort of.
We do.
Where they have, the Albany has their own area, the Predators have our own area. We have so much Predator paraphernalia to be putting up now.
Well, that's what it's about, I think, too. Like, for us, for me personally, how convenient is it that I live in Orlando and I'm able to come in, be around the owners, you know, do my stuff for Albany before I, head up, north to get everything started. But, yeah, man, I think the memorabilia when it comes to Orlando, I mean, all the years, I mean, this is generations of memorabilia that the Orlando Predators fans have, which is really cool.
Now whenever you were in the Amway or in the jungle, you can even say the CFP.
Yeah.
Whenever the fireworks went off and the music was blasting, welcome to the jungle, the lights dimmed, cloud come running out. Describe that feeling when you came running out of the tunnel and they announced your name.
Oh, welcome to the jungle is awesome. Now, for me, I'm very, people don't realize I'm actually really shy at heart. To be honest with you, I do it really well, but I don't like any attention, on me. And so, we were in Albany actually, and they always wanted to introduce me first, and I was like, no, put me last, or I don't want to come out of the tunnel. But again, it's good to hear, to know that people are excited for you. I'll say that. But I think for me, I always want the players to get the recognition. But it really is when you're coming in the jungle and all the music's playing and the fireworks are going. It's an amazing experience, and I think again when you put in as much work as we do, you really feel good about what you're doing when you have that kind of environment in the arena that you're playing in.
Now, this is the only silly question. I'm not going to ask your spirit animal or none of that crap.
Spirit animal.
I'm going
I'm sure it's spirit animal.
to ask if you could have one song.
My favorite color is purple.
If you could have one song. If you could have one song play every time you walked into a room, what would that song be?
Oh man, spirit animal would have been easy.
Yeah, I know. But that's a silly question. We don't want it to go like this.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. I don't know if I can narrow it down to one song, but I've been on this whole Chris Stapleton, Black Keys kind of kick lately. That's kind of the music I've been really jamming out to lately. But I don't know if I can do one song. That's tough.
What song? No.
I don't know. It's like a movie. If someone says, "What's your favorite movie?"
Okay, what's your favorite movie?
I can't do it. It depends on my mood. It depends on where I'm at. It's just.
Who's your favorite actor?
I couldn't do that. Again, Tom Hanks. Depends on what I'm seeing. Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks. It depends on what I'm watching. But I could tell you that my spirit animal is a wolf. I could tell you that. That's an easier question for me because I can actually give the answer.
Favorite fan club barbecue?
Oh, see, now they're putting me on the spot here.
There you go.
They're putting me on the spot.
It's not my question. This is fan questions. I want to know.
And it's something, they just do it so right. Again, the fans here, it's really, for me, when I first got here, right, there's a transition. And I think that's something that, for me, I've always been very good at in the transition time. And when I was the head coach of Spokane, we were transitioning from Arena 2 to the AFL. When I came here for Orlando, we were transitioning in between ownerships. When I went to Albany, it was an expansion. So I'm very good at starting the process, I think. So for me, a part of that process is to have great fans like this because they welcome you, they make you feel comfortable. Again, they give you the pep to keep going. I think the last thing you want to do is have a fan base that is non-existent. Because it kind of makes you question, what am I really doing? But the fan club here, it's amazing. The barbecues and the things they do for the players, it really is welcoming.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah, without doubt.
Now, Nick Green, one of our Pred heads, one of our longtime fans, has a question here. You might have answered it earlier, but he might not have been on it. He's out of town, or else he'd be here tonight.
Sure.
This is how do you get to and maintain your level of game day energy?
Well, so you can attest. So, am I excitable in the office?
Yeah, he's very excitable. This guy is just like this. This is not an act. This is not a put on. He's like this all the
I would say,
time.
is this excitable? I think this is pretty relaxed. Now for my game day stuff, it's I save that energy all week. I mean, that's just
I've seen your videos of halftime where you're talking to the players.
Sure. That's
exciting.
But I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I'm not a caffeine guy. I don't do caffeine. I eat right. I maintain a healthy lifestyle, and so for me, it's you use that energy all week. For me, it's I tell the players that how to. The last thing I want to do too is get sick during the week because if I can't coach because I'm sick or I lost my voice, it's going to affect the outcome of the game. So I really take care of myself Monday through Friday, so Saturday nights I can have all the energy in the world because that to me is the goal, to win, and then Sunday, Monday you recoup and you do it all over again. So to answer that question is I really purposely try to be as in shape and maintain the best kind of energy I can so I can perform the best I can.
Now there was another question on here. Let me find it real fast. It was from Enrique Crumbs. He goes, how does an athlete like himself find opportunities with your league?
Okay, so not knowing Enrique, but it's a great question. I would say the first thing to do is to go to an open workout. And so what you'll have as the season gets closer, whether it be Orlando or Albany or any of these other teams, depending on where you live and depending on what your finances are, is that you would apply to go to an open workout, and it might be 50 players, it might be 200 players, but you'll be able to put forth your athletic prowess, if you will, and you run a 40-yard dash, you do a broad jump, you do a 5-10-5 shuttle, you do some position-specific drills, and coaches on our level are very good at talent evaluators. I mean, I can definitely tell who is able to move and who is able to play at this level, and if you are worthy of getting to the next step, you'll be invited to camp to then perform that same kind of ability against professional athletes. And look, And I say this because I went through the open tryout process. I didn't really know about Atlanta football, and so I was living in Atlanta at the time, and I drove 3 hours south to Columbus, Georgia, and I worked out for the Columbus War Dogs, and I did a really good job, and I got a contract offer to me, and then the next thing I know, I'm on the team, and a week later I'm starting, and then the kind of rest is history. So if you have the desire and the ability, opportunities will be there for you.
Absolutely. That was a great question, and it was a great answer.
Yeah, great.
I mean, it was a great answer.
You know, I don't think there's no discrimination in football in terms of like, if you can play, we'll find you, but you have to get out there. And so I think too, Enrique, you know, we'll eventually, I'm sure we'll hear this in Orlando, but we'll have a part of our website, we'll have players able to upload their videos, and if you can't get to an open tryout, we'll be able to see it, or we'll see your video and say, hey, we'd like to see you in person, so come to the open tryout because we want to see more. So in this day and age of technology, you know, much like a college coach is trying to recruit high school athletes, they'll find you if you can get a hold of them.
Absolutely, because I mean, the number one goal for these coaches on all these NAL teams and any other team that's out there is to put the best player on the field. So you go to these open tryouts, you give it all you got. I mean, you got to shine. I mean, here in Orlando, we're still going to have open tryouts probably in December, then January, you know, to get it out there.
An open tryout doesn't mean, again, I came from that the open tryout system, if you will. Look, wherever you can do to get noticed, that's what it's all about. And so there's plenty of stories, you know, Vince Papale and all that stuff for the people that remember and that kind of stuff. But I mean, there are great stories from arena football of players that have shown up to open workouts who have gone on to have Hall of Fame arena football careers. So, you know, diamonds in the rough, if you will. We're always looking for them.
Listen, last season, well, 2019, we had a player. His name was Michael Red Lyons. He didn't go to college, didn't even play high school football. Came out open tryouts. He was one of our star receivers in 2019. Amazing. So you never know what happens. If you think you got it, come to a tryout. I mean, that's just it. Come to a tryout. You never know.
Absolutely.
You never know. Now, hey, does anybody out there have any questions for Coach Key? Because I know he's on the timeline. Steve Moore, yes, sir. Or, yes.
Oh my gosh, so referring to, so I don't have to do it anymore. Yeah, so there used to be in arena football that only the offensive coach could be on the field, and so I do defense and I do special teams. And it was really difficult for me to not be on the field. And so I would stand on the boards to get the attention. I'm not the tallest guy either, so I try to get the attention of my defense that may be 50 yards down the field or what have you. Well, then I would get fined. So the league would fine me because they thought it was dangerous, but I was like, hey, I'm an athlete, I can do this kind of thing. But now they've let defensive coaches on the field. So, but I'm always hanging on the boards. I always want to get into the action as much as I possibly can. So you'll see me kind of like a gargoyle on the side of a board there, you know, squatted and perched out. But yeah, I love it. It's an awesome game. It really does. It brings out the best in everyone, I think.
I meant to say Steve Moore. Not Steve Moore.
Oh, I know who it is.
I know. I got cut off. But hey, listen, did they keep events in Albany?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so when it started, so after my, again, I always say this to players, you can really make a living in this sport based on, I think, how the community feels about you and how you feel about the community. So the first game that I played as a player in Spokane, I'll never forget it, we won on a blocked field goal. It was awesome. It was like a Thursday night. Anyway, I had a kick return for a touchdown, and I had 2 interceptions, but I was just an energetic player, and I really enjoyed it. And so they took to that. I kind of became an instant fan favorite, which I was very humbled by. In the second game, the second home game, there was signs that said defense, and it was a shock to me. No pun intended there, but I was like, this is pretty cool. And then T-shirts and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of stuck. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, And I'm very fortunate that it's kind of followed me all where I've always gone, and it's became kind of the motto. But again, it humbles me because I do really want to, get the players out there, more than me, and because I want them to have their due too, because they're doing all the work.
You know what? I mean, I don't know if you know Eric Bowler. He is the voice of the Predators.
Yes, I do.
He is the announcer.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to bring it up to him. I don't know if he'll do it or not. But when your offense for Albany is on the field and we're in the jungle, I'm going to have him say, "Keepence."
Oh,
and it's going to drive people crazy. What do you think about that, Steve? You think, when Albany's offense is on the field, we're in the jungle, should we yell "Keepence," right?
We won't have to.
It'll be great games too. I'm excited for the league. I'm excited to eventually, the schedule will start coming out. We'll start seeing the matchups. More players will be signed, so you'll see the whole thing take shape, which is exciting.
I'm really excited for the team. I'm excited that you're with Albany.
Well, I
I know
think what's cool
the matchups are going to be
and
great.
I say this too. It's cool that it's September. There's going to be such a build-up. We have such a long way to go, but I think in the build-up is the excitement. I mean, that's part of the process. Getting to that first game, just let it kind of, bubble until it kind of pops. The first game with excitement. So.
Without a doubt. Now, I see here the time right there. I know you want to be out of
You're the
here.
man, bro.
So, if you got any shout-outs, because then I do my shout-outs. You want to shout out to anybody?
I think if I'm going to do shout-outs, just to the fans of the NAL, right? It's the fans to just Arena football, and the great fans of Orlando, the great fans of Albany. I'm excited to meet. There's a lot of places I've never been before too. I've never been to some of these. Once a bread, always a bread. I mean, there's just great fans here. So there's some. I've never been to Carolina. There's certain arenas and fan bases I haven't had to interact with. So just excited to meet everybody and to get the. I really enjoy competition, so I'm excited to get started.
Good, and I'm glad you're in the league. Really, I am. Now, my shout-outs. First place shout-out is Fish on Fire. Thank you, Fish on Fire, for supporting the Orlando Predators, being one of our sponsors, feeding our players, and hosting Pred Talk every Monday night. Thank you, Morgan, Joe, Heather behind the bar, Steven for keeping a tight ship here. Like I said before, take care of them because they're taking care of you. Cycle Fever TV, thank you for live streaming this. You guys are the best. Really appreciate it. I want to thank Ron Tradico, the Tradico family, Nate Starling Jr., for letting me do what I do. Coach Ben Bennett, thanks for coming in tonight. We appreciate your support. I thank my wife, Mary LoBianco, for just letting me do what I do as well, putting up with my nonsense. And listen, I want to thank also Florida Man Radio, Shannon Burke Show. Thanks for having me on the show. Look forward to doing some more radio stuff with you. Steve and Nancy Morris and everybody out here, you Predator fans, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for all the different stuff. And I think that's all I got. And Coach Keith, man, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Man, thanks for coming on board. I appreciate you coming in. It was a great time.
Thanks for having me.
Until next week,
Good to see everybody.
peace out. Go Preds. Dad, down here.